Hey everybody, Alyssa here from Becoming Memories. Thanks so much for joining me for another process video. I'm starting out with this piece of cardstock that I applied gesso to, top to bottom, corner to corner, and I apologize, my camera will stop going out of focus once I stop flashing that paper around. So this cut file is called Pie Chart Hearts. It's from Paige Evans in the Silhouette store, and I have painted them gold. Sorry guys, I have a cut on my finger there and it was really, every time I would touch something it would just hurt. I used this gold paint from IKEA and I had tried originally using Color Shine Mist on it and it just did not provide the gold look that I wanted. I wanted a very kind of shiny metallic-y gold and that Color Shine just wasn't thick-bodied enough, I guess. So I'm going to create a background here, and this layout is 100% inspired by Missy Whidden. I have to say that right up front. I watched a YouTube video the other day while I was working, and sadly I cannot find it again. I have looked, but she did a layout where she layered hearts across the page, very, very similarly to what I'm planning to do here. And did, of course, the mixed media background behind it because Missy is the mixed media genius of the world. And so I've learned a lot about mixed media just from watching her. So this is maybe not a direct scrapped lift, but definitely inspired by the video that I watched from Missy. So what I'm doing here is kind of figuring out what arrangement I want my hearts in, and then I'm taking a pencil and just marking where the tops and bottoms of each heart are. Excuse me. And I am doing that so that once I do my mixed media, it's going to mostly cover those pencil marks, but I'll be able to see them just enough to know where they go and to kind of make sure I get that arrangement that I liked there. So I'm using 3 Distress stains and 1 Tattered Angel's Mist. This is Distress stain, I believe, in peeled paint. And the reason I'm using the combination of mist and stains is purely color. I'm sorry, that is fossilized amber there. That is not peeled paint. I will be using peeled paint, but that is not peeled paint. It's just color. I really did not have some of the colors that I wanted in mist, and so I pulled out the stains. And I'm glad I did because my stains really do not get enough use. So I'm just applying some of that stain there to the packaging, spraying it with water, and then applying it to my paper, and I'm kind of letting it drip down and create a little bit more of a messy look. And the reason that I am sticking to that one little section is because I want a different color behind each heart. And this is something that I saw Missy do in her video, and I thought it looked amazing when she had finished. This is peeled paint, so there we go with the peeled paint. I knew it was coming. And actually, I really ended up liking how the stains worked for this particular technique better than the way the mist worked. So I will be pulling them out again and doing this again very soon because it was actually less messy to use the stains and a little easier to control, I thought. So that was kind of a pleasant surprise. And you'll notice there I'm kind of doing like heart number 4 and heart number 2 and leaving some space in between them where heart number 3 is going to go. And that's because I'm trying to give the colors a chance to dry before they touch each other because I don't want them to like mix together and muddy the colors too much. So there I am drying. Okay, now I'm cutting over to my heat tool for drying. And now by the magic of editing, those 2 colors are dry, so we're coming back with Chipped Sapphire in Distress Stain. And right there where the colors touch, if I had not dried the green there before applying the blue, it would have totally muddied up. So it was a good idea to do that. For whatever reason, when Missy, and I see other mixed media artists who apply colors in layers and they don't seem to muddy, but for me, I don't know, I feel like they just always do. So now I have just quickly given the blue a dry with my heat tool. And now we're moving on to the yellow, which is a medallion, I believe, chalkboard mist from Tattered Angels. And I really need to find some new mists. I really want to try the shimmers mists. I used to use shimmers, and I had several of them, and I used them up completely, and then I never really went back, and I don't really know why. So I need to do that because I do have quite a few colors that are getting empty and need replacing, and so you can expect to see some shimmers in some of my videos here in the near future. So at this point, I'm really kind of liking the way that it is coming together, but I want to kind of add a little more, expand those color areas just a little bit. And I'm also paying attention to where I put those pencil marks, because that way I can make sure that I get beyond the boundary of those hearts. At this point, I'm not sure if I'm going to back those hearts, those cut files, or not, because I do like the way they look when they're not backed, but I'm still undecided. So I just want to create the background and then kind of see what they look like on there. My nozzle on the medallion ink there was clogged, and so that's why I keep unscrewing it and taking it out to apply it to my packaging, because it's always the color that I decide to use in a video that ends up clogged, right? So I'm applying, that color there kind of got too light for me, and so now I'm applying some undiluted, and that way it makes the color a little stronger if I don't add the water. So now we've dried again, and we're still not finished, because what I realized is I wanted some mist to appear above and below the photo. And I'm also going back to that fossilized amber stain and applying some without adding water as well. And I'm still not happy with how dark that medallion mist is, and so I've gone back and added a little bit of that fossilized amber distress stain over the top of it. And it does kind of make the first space and the last space the same color, but I'm okay with that. I decided it was more important to me that the colors be saturated than it was that the colors be different, if that makes sense. So I put everything back on there. I decided I needed a little bit more up above the photo, because I thought it looked a little neglected up above that area where when I put the photo back on. So I'm using a little more peeled paint, and I'm just going to kind of expand upon that area. And at this point, I'm not trying to create drips anymore, and so that's why I have completely stopped diluting all the colors by spraying water. Oh, I put the chip sapphire up there. Right, I forgot that I did that. It's funny what you see when you go back and watch these videos, especially if it's been a few weeks. I've been doing better with filming lately than I have with editing and voiceovers, and that's because there's usually so much noise in the background when I'm filming that you probably couldn't even hear me if I was doing this live. All right, so now we have dried again with the heat tool, and I should say, I don't know why I changed persons there, but I'm applying some spatters with gold Heidi Swap Color Shine. And I will tell you, actually, those gold spatters look amazing in person when everything is dry, and you can't really see them that well on the video, I'm noticing, but they really add a great finishing touch. I recently found a small bottle of the Color Shine, the gold, at Tuesday Morning, and I bought it even though it was in a 3-pack and I didn't need the other 2 colors. And that's another reason why I need to try shimmers, because I know that they have a replacement that some others have said is excellent for that gold color shine. So I've now backed one of these one of these hearts with this green paper, and I've decided to go ahead and do the rest. So they are almost done. That paper, the green and gold paper, is from the Goldenrod collection by One Canoe 2. And there we go. So I have paper now behind all the hearts, and I have not adhered it yet because I'm still deciding whether or not I want to keep it there, which is why I have to keep fidgeting because every time I bump it, the whole thing moves. Those papers are also from the Goldenrod collection. I'm sorry, those flowers. The white flowers. I fussy cut those off screen, off camera, because it's just a lot of fussy cutting. You can see the paper there that they were originally from over there on the right hand side of the screen. It was a navy blue background with those flowers on top, and those flowers are just gorgeous when you fussy cut them. That paper is beautiful, but those flowers fussy cut are amazing, and I absolutely loved them on this layout. It's been a long time since I found a fussy cutting sheet that had a less traditional, like a not pink, I should say, flower that I enjoyed fussy cutting that much. And the stems on them are thick enough to cut out and keep the whole flower intact. So now I'm just gluing down. I've decided to keep the paper there behind the cut files. So I've glued them down and I'm just trimming around those hearts. For some reason I seem to, and I'm using Scotch Quick Dry adhesive there, I was just quickly showing you the bottle. For some reason I have a habit of always cutting my backing papers too big for the file. And I think I'm just paranoid about leaving enough space to glue everything down. And I end up leaving too much, and then I have to go back and trim. But it's alright. It's not the end of the world. So I've now glued them down, and I'm going to mat my photo on some white cardstock. And this cardstock is actually a piece of paper that you can kind of see there. I originally had run those hearts through my Silhouette, and it didn't cut all the way through, and so I recut it. And that was just the paper that was sitting there that was left from that mishap. And I decided to put it to good use. So I'm going to go ahead and fidget around with these flowers for a little while. At this point, I'm loving this layout. I basically loved this layout from the minute I started. And it turned out exactly like I pictured it in my head. And so that's always nice when that happens. But I am going to kind of cut apart the flowers that I fussy cut so I can do a little more layering and tucking. And then I find an arrangement that I'm happy with. I'm sorry guys, my voice is it is failing me today. Oh my goodness. So I've added the word today there from the Heidi Swap wood veneers that were in my kit, and I'm going to link the original kit for you down there in the comments if you're curious to see what was in there to begin with. These black stickers are from Pink Paisley, and I did not realize until literally just then when I pulled them out of the package that they are on black transparency. I apparently have never taken them out of the package before. Got them at a yard sale, and like I said, didn't realize they were semi-transparent, so I decided to put them on that same piece of ruined white cardstock and cut them out because I really didn't want them to be semi-transparent. I needed them to kind of stand up on their own because there are so many layers underneath where I'm putting them that they would have been kind of, I don't know, wobbly is the word that's coming to mind, but that's probably not the right word. It's not really what I mean. But anyhow, now I'm kind of looking for a place to put some journaling. And I cut originally a piece of that notebooky paper that came from the Chamel Box of Crayons collection journaling pad. And I didn't really feel like I had a place that I wanted to put that. I kind of love this layout so much that I have a hard time deciding where to put journaling because I don't want to put anything on layout. I don't really want to add anything at this point, but I'm just trying to decide if I'm done. So now I'm just putting some foam squares under some of those pieces, fussy cut floral pieces, for some dimension, and I'm ready to adhere my wood veneer word, which says today, and I didn't put enough glue on it. It all soaked in. Surprisingly, I've never really had that happen before, but it did. So I'm finishing off my title here and put it with those black pink paisley stickers. And then I will bring in a couple of these little remarks stickers, and they weren't quite small enough to fit in the space and kind of line up with those black pink paisley stickers, so I just trimmed them down. And normally, this is why I like working with kits, because normally I would have gone digging around for some other sticker that was smaller, but because this was here in my kit, I decided to just cut them down and roll with it. And it actually works just fine. They don't end up quite as perfectly aligned, but this is not a perfectly aligned kind of layout, so it's all good. Here I'm looking through my stamps because I was looking for a journaling stamp so I could put some journaling lines on there and maybe do it in a color that would blend a little bit better. That was my thought. So I'm going to go with this set. This is a set that I got at the Goodwill outlet. I have no idea who made it or where it's from. I'm looking for my Distress ink here in fossilized amber, and I come up with Distress oxide instead, which is fine, but I knew that the fossilized amber would blend beautifully because and kind of fade into the background, so to speak, like kind of blend with the whole layout, because I use the Distress stain in fossilized amber. And so I really wanted my journaling to be very subtle because I didn't want to change the look of the layout in any way. But here's what happened. I stamped that on there and it still was too much for me. It didn't go with the look of the layout. And so I took a wet wipe, and because those Distress oxides are water reactive, I just used a baby wipe to kind of smudge them and make them look more watercolory. And then I was happy with it because it fit with the look of my mixed media background. And so that's what I did. That was kind of like one of those moments where, like, you know, inspiration struck and it happened to be just at the right time. So I'm writing my journaling in here along the side with a gold pen. And what I did there before in the video I didn't explain, but what I was doing was like scribbling on that piece of scrap paper and holding it up to the layout to make sure that that was the color I wanted to journal in. And now I just added a little Distress stain to the edge of my paper there because I just really wanted that to sort of blend in. And you can read it. You can't read it on the camera here, but you can actually read it in real life. So I was happy with that and how well that was able to kind of blend in with the layout and not stand out like, whoa, here's journaling. So a few more spatters of color shine, and then my camera actually cut off before I was quite finished, but I don't really think that I added much of anything else. And here are some pictures of the finished layout. I hope you enjoyed this layout. I certainly enjoyed making it. I love how it turned out. I would love it if you would like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I love hearing from you, and I will see you in the next video.